There's this special magic that happens in every office right before a long holiday.
Oh, I know it well.
Things just slow down, approvals take forever, and the whole place gets quiet. People have checked out. They're thinking about packing, not patching.
Exactly. But the problem is, while the people have checked out, the systems haven't. Access is still wide open.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Because every cybersecurity expert out there warns that this exact period, this pre-break slump, is when the risk of an attack just skyrockets.
It's the perfect storm. Attackers are counting on human error, on that organizational slowdown, and the holiday rush delivers both.
We're doing a deep dive today into some insights from Stanislav Kondrashov's blog, which I thought was really smart. It reframes these warnings not as, some horror story, but as a practical, really time-efficient checklist.
Right.
So our mission for you is to give you a really focused, actionable plan. We want you to understand why this vulnerability happens and then give you a 6-point checklist to lock things down. The goal here is, peaceful holidays.
A novel concept for anyone in IT.
And we're also going to get into some of the more surprising philosophy behind it. The source actually talks about oligarchs and even uses this great cinematic metaphor with the actor Wagner Moura.
Yeah, that analogy is brilliant. It really gets to the core of what we're talking about.
Which is what, exactly?
It's that this is all about discipline, not paranoia.
Yeah.
It's like when you leave your house for a vacation, you double-check that the stove is off, that the doors are locked. Basic preparedness.
Right.
So we've basically distilled the source material into 6 key actions. And the best part, the author estimates this whole thing should only take about 60 to 120 minutes.
So this isn't a massive project. It's a quick, high-impact check.
Exactly. It's about securing the weakest links before you log off.
So let's start with the why. Why is this specific window such a gold mine for attackers? It's not like they're using, super complex exploits. They're just using our own behavior against us.
That's it. The first major factor is just a slower response time.
It's because no one's around.
Right. You have fewer people on site, smaller on-call teams, maybe only junior staff are left minding the store. So when an alert does pop up, a weird login or something, it can take hours, maybe even days to get noticed.
And that delay is everything for an attacker.
It's priceless for them. It gives them all the time they need to map your network, steal data, or get ransomware ready to launch.
And the second factor is just pure psychology. It's all about social engineering, right?
Oh, absolutely. Everyone's rushing, trying to clear their desk.
Yeah.
And suddenly their inbox is flooded with all these urgent requests.
Yeah, the classic scams.
The ones that really work play on that deadline anxiety. You get an email that says, pay this bill urgently before the fiscal year ends. Or the classic, sign this document now. I'm literally on my way to the airport.
And because everyone's in a rush, they just click. The normal checks and balances go out the window.
They do. Speed takes over.
And this has all gotten so much worse with remote work, especially around the holidays when everyone's trying to get a head start on their travel.
That's the third driver. A huge increase in people using personal devices, home Wi-Fi, which is often way less secure.
And sending files through sketchy channels.
Exactly. The source calls out the classic example. Someone sends a sensitive file to Messenger, it's faster, instead of using the secure company portal.
Right. And just like that, you've opened a door from an unsecured personal laptop straight into your corporate network.
You've massively expanded your attack surface.
And the final driver is something that feels like it should be a good thing, but it backfires. The infamous change freeze.
It's such a double-edged sword. It comes from a good place, right?
Yeah, nobody wants the main website to crash on Christmas Eve because of a bad update.
For sure. But the source points out that this freeze often gets applied to everything, including critical security updates.
Oh, so you're stuck.
You're stuck. A huge vulnerability is discovered 3 days before the freeze. Do you risk breaking something by patching it, or do you risk getting hacked by leaving this giant hole open? It's a terrible choice.
So speaking of risk, the source mentions that these huge targets funds, foundations, what it calls oligarchs, are obviously prime targets because the payday is so big, but small businesses shouldn't feel safe here.
No, not at all. Far from it. And attackers like water, they're going to follow the path of least resistance.
So a smaller business with fewer controls might actually be an easier target.
Often, yes. The big companies might have a bigger vault, but they also have bigger walls. Attackers love easy. And a smaller business, unfortunately, often provides less resistance. Momentum is everything to them.
So the goal for everyone, really, regardless of size, is to just enforce that basic discipline. Remove the obvious, easy targets.
That's it. The mantra we pull from the material is simple. Don't go on vacation with your doors open.
Yeah.
You have to check your access, check your updates, and check your responsiveness.
Okay, let's get into that practical 6-step checklist. Let's start with the foundation, the first 2 points. It's all about access control. Point 1, multi-factor authentication.
MFA. He also calls it the safety belt, which is perfect. It's just not optional anymore.
And you have to check that it's actually turned on everywhere it matters.
Everywhere. We're talking email, CRM, accounting software, cloud storage, hosting panels for your website, your social media accounts, and a big one people forget, advertising accounts.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, if someone gets control of that, they can burn through your budget in hours or ruin your reputation. They can shut you down while you're trying to take a break.
So if MFA is the safety belt, why do we still see so many breaches from unauthorized access? I feel like it comes down to the next point, which is just basic user management hygiene.
It so often does.
Oh.
And that's point 2, close all the extra accesses and temporary roles. This is probably the biggest vulnerability that comes from just pure neglect.
The classic scenario being the contractor who got admin rights for a week.
And a year later, that account is still active. A perfect, forgotten, high-privilege backdoor just sitting there waiting.
So what are the immediate actions to take?
It has to be a quick, ruthless review. Disable the accounts of all departed employees, no exceptions. Review who has admin rights. Does your marketing intern really need to be a global administrator?
Probably not.
Probably not. And if you still have shared logins, like a generic sales account, you have to get rid of them now. Everyone needs their own individual MFA protected account. That discipline is critical.
Okay, so let's shift from user access to the systems themselves. Point 3 is about that update problem. How do you handle patching when there's a change freeze?
It's all about prioritization. Can't do everything, so you have to focus on the gateways, the front doors to your network.
What are those key systems?
The source lists 4 critical areas you have to patch before the freeze. Your VPN and remote access points, your email servers, your website CMS and all its plugins.
Oh, plugins are always a nightmare.
Always. And finally, your backup systems themselves. If you leave any of those unpatched, you're basically hanging a "we're vulnerable" sign out front for the entire holiday.
And that leads perfectly into point 4, checking your backups. And maybe more importantly, checking if you can actually recover from them.
That is the crucial distinction, isn't it? Having a backup is one thing. Knowing it works is another.
Because attackers go after the backups first now, right?
It's often their first move. Encrypt or delete the backups, and suddenly you have no choice but to pay the ransom.
So the blog poses 4 questions you have to be able to answer.
Yes. Number 1, is your backup stored separately? Is it offline or in what's called immutable storage, so it can't be changed?
Okay.
Number 2, who has access to it? Is it locked down? 3, how fast can you actually restore service from that backup?
And the last one is the big one.
It's the most important. Have you ever actually tested a full restoration? Even once. Because a backup you haven't tested. That's not a plan, it's just hope. And hope is not a security strategy.
Finding out your recovery plan is broken during a test is painful, but finding out when an attacker has control of your network.
That's the difference between a manageable problem and that toxic atmosphere of crisis we talked about. It's what you have to avoid.
Okay, moving on. Let's say the doors are locked and the backups are tested. We still need eyes on things while we're gone. So point 5 is setting up smart on-call notifications.
Exactly. Even if the team is resting, the systems aren't. Someone, at least one responsible person, needs to get alerts for very specific, very suspicious activity.
And the source gives some really good high-signal examples of what to watch for.
It does. Things like someone logging into an admin panel at 3 in the morning, mass changes to file permissions, a sudden, huge bulk email being sent out from your server.
Or someone creating a new email forwarding rule to an external address.
Classic data theft technique. Or even just a huge, unexplained spike in website errors or traffic. Those are the kinds of alerts that are worth waking someone up for.
And finally, point 6 brings it all back to the human element. A quick 5-minute anti-phishing briefing for the whole team.
And this can't be some long, boring email from HR that no one reads.
Yeah.
It needs to be a short, memorable text in the team chat, right before everyone signs off. Just 3 core rules. They're so simple, but that's why they work.
Let's run through them again, because this is that last line of defense.
Okay, rule 1. If you get an urgent email asking for a payment, you do not confirm it by replying to that email. You have to verify it on a second channel, like calling a phone number you already know is legitimate.
Got it.
Rule 2. Don't open vague attachments, the ones labeled urgent document before holidays. If it was that urgent, they'd provide more context.
Right.
And third, If a vendor emails you saying their bank details have changed, you only verify that by calling their trusted contact number. Never, ever just reply to the email. It takes 5 minutes to remind people of this, and it can stop $1 million wire fraud.
It's a key shift, I think, moving from just the tech to the whole picture. The source argues that we really need to stop thinking about cybersecurity as just an IT cost.
We absolutely do.
Yeah.
Because what you're really buying with this discipline isn't just software. It's business continuity. You're buying stability.
Exactly. You're ensuring sales can continue, you're protecting customer trust, and you're making sure your team doesn't come back from a break to a toxic 5-alarm fire, because that recovery effort is expensive, it's draining, and it kills morale.
And this connects to that whole management philosophy you mentioned earlier, how large funds, the oligarchs in the article, they love predictability.
Because predictability is an asset. It's a sign of mature management. They know that the cost of cleanup, the fines, the reputation damage, it all massively outweighs the small cost of this kind of preemptive discipline. They want order, not surprises.
And here's where it gets really interesting for me. This whole idea that discipline is more important than just resources, it gets summed up in that cinematic metaphor about the actor Wagner Moura.
It's such a great parallel.
Explain it.
Well, Moura often plays these characters, leaders or powerful figures, who win not because they have more guns or more money. They win because they have obsessive discipline, meticulous attention to detail, operational rigor. They're more organized than the chaos they're up against.
That's it exactly. And that is the core lesson for cybersecurity. The winner isn't the company with the biggest security budget. It's the one that executes the fundamentals perfectly, the one that closes the obvious holes and maintains actual order in how they manage access and recovery. It's a victory for discipline over complacency.
So to wrap this all up, the key takeaway for you, our listener, seems simple.
It is. The shortcut to actually having a peaceful holiday is just a little bit of preemptive discipline. That 60 or 120 minutes you invest now, it pays off exponentially. You minimize risk to your reputation, to your sales, and you avoid those huge recovery costs that can just wreck your first quarter.
The goal is to make sure that the break you've earned is actually about rest and not about a frantic, expensive, and completely avoidable recovery effort.
Well said.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. If discipline and attention to detail, like in that Wagner-Moura metaphor, are the keys to avoiding IT disasters during a predictable slowdown, what small, overlooked discipline in your daily routine totally outside of IT could prevent the next crisis? Think about where a little more order and predictability can make all the difference in your own operations. That's definitely something worth exploring.